Hi, this is my 1975 John Deere 300 garden tractor. I've had it about 20 years here, and it's been a good machine. Had to fix a few things. One thing that's caused me a bit of grief over the years is quite a bit of vibration in the driveline, and you end up starting to feel it in the steering wheel. It's shaking like crazy. It makes your hands go numb, for crying out loud. It's so bad. But anyway, it's I've been able to fix it in different ways. One is this rag joint here. They can get all deformed. And so I've got two of those over the years and two sets of three. And that's fixed it at that time. And then another problem is on all these driveline parts, like this one here, there's a roll pin that goes in there. And they get worn and cause a lot of slop. So that's another source of that. But lately, I got a brand new rag joint and all new pins, and it still vibrated pretty bad. So what I discovered was on the end of the shaft, this is a donor shaft, but anyway, what happens is these things sometimes get worn like this pretty bad. And the other end of this one's not bad. This is a donor tractor, but my shaft was just as bad as this here. So, you go to put this on, and there's a whole lot of wiggling around there at high RPM. That causes all that vibration. So now you can buy all these parts. You can buy these things, and you can buy the shaft new, and that'll probably get you by for quite a few years. But they're not cheap, but they're doable. But the biggest problem was my the input shaft of the pump looked just about this bad. And as you can imagine, there's no easy fix there. I saw a YouTube of a guy that he's got a machine shop and whatnot, and he pulled the pump all apart and made a new input shaft and everything. And I guess that worked just fine. But of course, I don't have a machine shop or the abilities to do that kind of work. So I came up with another idea that I did about 3 or 4 months ago. And so far, so good. What I did was on this worn shaft, I put one of these split collars over the thing to squeeze it tight. Now, you'd have to do a little mod on these parts to be able to squeeze that thing, because of course it's all solid. So where I've got those white lines there, I took a zip cut and I cut a slot. So you end up with 4 slots. I actually tried it with a hacksaw, but that stuff is hard. I don't know what they do with it, but it was too hard for that. But the zip cut did a beautiful job. And you cut down right to the weld there. And this thing doesn't seem to be focusing very good. But anyway, yeah, because you want to leave the weld. And then right where there is no weld there, it's focusing better there now. Just put it down for a minute. Is I put a little spot weld right in there on that side and the other side, because once you cut that slot away, there's nothing really holding that chunk, I didn't think. So I did that. That wasn't a big deal. So anyway, I did that to all these parts that needed it. I guess there would only be 1, 2, 3 of them, I suppose, yeah. And that allows for some room to compress that split collar. Without it, of course, it wouldn't do anything. So anyway, I'm going to go under the tractor, and I'll give you a better view. Now, this is my 3rd try at this stupid thing, and every time I go under the tractor, I somehow turn it off. So if it does go off again, there'll be a part 2 to this video, and I'll do it that way. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong, but something. So anyway, I'm going under the tractor. If it shuts off, just skip to the next video and continue on that way. Okay, I hope for the best here. I don't know if I push the stop button somehow or what I'm doing when I'm doing this. Okay, well, maybe so far so good. It's working this time. Okay, what the heck was I going to show you here? Oh yeah, I was going to show you up here how this kind of shows up better at this point here. Get this into the thing without shutting it off. Okay, here's the front end by the tractor. And now you can see those slots a little better there, how it works when it's all, slotted, and then that split collar's tightened up really tight. Tighten them as much as you can, and it just tightened that sloppy joint right up there. I think you can probably see the slots in that thing pretty good. And so, of course, it's the same on these other ones. That one down there. Yeah, actually, you can see the slots in that one, too, that I cut. And then the one in the right at the pump, I can't really get that. That's pretty kind of far away or something. Can't see it. But anyway, that's what it looks like. It's nice and tight. And I actually just went under here to check these bolts because I haven't checked them since I did this mod. And they're still nice and tight. I was thinking about Loctiting them if they were loose, but they're not, so I'll leave it. But that's something, if you're going to do it, wouldn't be a bad idea. But anyway, that really did it for me. So you might try it if you've got the same problem. Like you look when that's running. Some other guy on YouTube did that. And if you got this apart, you can leave the gas tank on, of course, but you can see right down here. And if you've got a problem, you'll just see that vibrating like crazy. So, and that's what I knew. I had that same problem. So if you do, you can try those other things. The rag joint, if it's deformed, is going to give you grief, and the roll pins, of course. But now the other thing about the roll pins is I cut them so they're exactly 1 inch because it can't stick out, or this collar wouldn't be able to do its thing. Actually, it's just a hair under 1 inch. So they're buried under there. And of course, it can't go anywhere because the split collar's holding them in place. And that's about all there is to it. So you might try that. Oh, I'm going to go under here. I'll show you a few more things if this stupid phone doesn't kick out on me that I did to the tractor. One thing was I did a power steering mod. Now you can see that cylinder back there. That's on YouTube if you want to get some info on that. And that's really worked out well over the years. Love that power steering. It's great. When you get the snow blower on, or I made a little front end loader, sort of like a Johnny bucket, and you get weight on the front end. Boy, this thing was hard to steer. That took care of that. And the other little thing, now you can see that primer bulb down there. I'm not going to move the camera because I'll probably hit the stupid button and shut it off again. But you can see it, that primer bulb, that's an excellent little mod too. I did that a long time ago. This tractor, every time I tried to start it after it sat for a while, you'd have to crank it like crazy to pump the fuel up into the carb. So this thing, now I'm in the habit of reach my hand under that back tire there. I know exactly where that primer bulb is and squeeze it a half a dozen times. You can hear it pump up and feel it, and then you go to start it and it flashes right up. So that's a good add-on. And there's that little brass knob there. That's just a lockout valve for when you're operating a loader or whatnot to isolate it and make it work better. That's about it. All those extra lines, of course, are for the power steering. I hard piped it all, but and that works great. But anyway, that's about it. The main thing I wanted to show you today was that vibration fix, which of course is important. I mean, if you let that vibration go too far, it's going to destroy that input shaft on your pump, and now you got a big job. So anyway, you might want to give it a go. Worked for me. Bye-bye for now.